hello. Oh, oops. I'll get that when this is over. Good evening, everybody. Come on in. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're here. Hey, ladies. So good to see you. Make sure you hit invite some friends over to join us tonight to have some fun. Hey, ladies. Hey, Celine. Hey, Miss Gladden. How are you? Come on in, ladies. Come on in. Let's celebrate Monday. Monday blessings. Being in the land of the living, being safe as we continue to pray for all those impacted by the storms. This devastation is so great, and you just feel it. You feel it in your heart, and it's just like, wow. With today being 9/11, and then people still recovering from Harvey, and now Irma, and just so much is going on in the world. So we have to just continue to pray and lift people up and help where we can, because anybody could be in that situation, being impacted by the storm. So it's so important that we continue to show support. Just give a few more minutes for people to jump on. Yes, talk to me. Hi, Laurel. Where'd my little button go? Okay, Facebook. Where'd my invite button go? I just went to hit it and it disappeared on me. Oh, here we go. Okay. Gonna put that on mute. Hey lady, how are you? Lamont is safe. Yes, I know, Miss Gladden. I sent him a text message earlier and he responded, so glad to hear that. Showing up, making food videos, having a bit of fun. I love that, Laurel, your passions. Well, welcome everybody to the place and the space. Happy Monday. My name is Carolyn Jones, and I am a certified life and health coach, helping supporting women to be healthy and even more fabulous. I'm a little tired tonight, so for my prayer warriors, pray my strength. Just feeling a little that lull. Like I didn't sleep good last night, then I had to be up early this morning, and it was just one of those days. You have one of those days where I had so much on my plate that I had to complete one thing after the next thing after the next thing. I have to say I got it done, but not sleeping so well and then trying to get a lot of things done. Obviously, I'm going to jump in the bed as soon as we are done here. So I am so glad all of you showed up tonight. So for those of you who have been in the space, welcome back. Can you believe it's week 6 already? It seems like we just started like last week and it's already week 6. For those of you who are brand new to the space, welcome. We have a few ground rules here that this is a community of support. Only positive vibes here. Hey, Denise, only positive vibes allowed here. We support one another in the comments. You must talk back to me. We talk to each other. This is an interactive session where we learn and we grow together. Hey, Angela. I know, right? Celine, can't believe it. This is an interactive space where we talk to each other, we compliment each other, we can ask each other questions. And I ask that you give hearts and thumbs up so that I can see the engagement. Facebook recognizes the engagement. Engagement is so important on social media. So please make sure you're giving lots of hearts and thumbs up. And they just feel good, right? They just feel good when you're on the other end of this because you're hoping those you are communicating with are enjoying the message and they're getting something from it. And I love just seeing, and when you give hearts and thumbs up, I get to see your beautiful faces pop up on my screen. So I love seeing that too, because it's just like, you know, you're right there when your face just floats across the screen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, thank you to everybody who's been here for the past, today is 6 weeks. Thank you for those who are just joining and finding our community. I hope you go and look at the previous videos and check them out and see what you can glean or gain from them. I'm always available for questions, so feel free to DM me or drop a comment in the thread. You know, we have some surprises. They have some giveaways. We just had a giveaway yesterday. And so you never know what else may be what else there may be before we end. So there's always some surprises in the group. So we're just going to get right down to business. So we'll just do a recap over. So the 6 weeks, what we've covered so far is, anybody know what we covered first week? Anybody remember what was the first tool or step of the experience? Drop it in the comment. Anybody? Honor where you are. So that's what we did week number 1, honor where you are. Week number 2, we talked about reconnecting to our feminine fire. Week number 3, we talked about envisioning our divine destination and what a ride that was. Week 4, unapologetically standing in your truth, speaking your truth, showing up in your truth. Making sure that what you do, what you say, how you show up is your truth, and it's how you want to present yourself to the world and to those around you, not according to what society says or family tradition or anything like that. Standing in your truth. Last week we talked about honoring our pace. Honoring your flow, and what a conversation that was. And I loved seeing all those who participated in the contest showing up with their blocks, with their affirmations, with their acts of self-care. I mean, you ladies, Celine is on here. She was one of them. You were showing up and showing out. I loved it. I love the participation because that's how we stretch and we grow, when we get out of our comfort zone, when we speak up, right? When we stand in, even though we may have areas of development, but we own it. We say, this is where I am, but I also have a vision, my divine destination of where I'm going. So I am hats off, whether your flow moved from a 1 to a 2 or to a 2 to a 3, it's all growth. Right? Because we talk about being 1% better every day. So if I'm 1% better every day, 1% plus 1% plus 1% equals how much, right? There's 30 days in September. So that's 30% better by the end of the month. If you keep that goal in mind, that I'm going to be at least 1% better every day. So every day you wake up is an opportunity to learn something new, to experience something different. Do you know when you look at something differently, that thing actually changes? When is the last time you thought about that? How we want things to be so different, whether it be a trait in somebody that's getting on our nerves, whether it be something physical in our space, right? If you want it to be different, move. Like, I'm looking at the pillows on my couch right now. If I want the arrangement to be different, I have to physically get up and go move the pillows. I need to rearrange them. So what are some of the things that you can look at in your life that you want to be different, that you can look at differently to help you to overcome whatever it is that may be getting in the way? Because we talked about different blocks in our area, in areas of our life. One of the important things we talked about last week is self-care, being an act of self-love. So I trust and I hope that you have been continuing your journey of self-care and self-love. This morning I had an 8:30 a.m. doctor's appointment. That's a part of my self-care for myself. So ladies and gentlemen, I do hope that you are taking care of yourselves, that you are making your necessary doctor's appointments. I don't want to hear, oh, I don't have time, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. None of that. I've shared with many of you, my mom died from a heart attack, and many times she would tell me, oh, I feel all right, I'm good. While she was taking care of her husband, she was his caretaker. You know, she's doing so much for everybody else, but she needed to be doing what she needed for herself as well. And sometimes we put ourselves on the back burner for everybody else. And it's time for us. One of the points we're going to talk about tonight is it's time for us to love ourselves in the same way that we freely love others, right? Giving ourselves that same amount of love. How many of you love your pets? Celeste. How many of you love your children? You love your husband. You love your friends. And you'll do any and everything for them. And how many of us also need to love ourselves the same way we love them? How many of us need to decrease the judgment of ourselves the same way we'll decrease the judgment of others, right? Or how we look at how another person did something or how another person showed up. Even a child, right? One time I had my girlfriend cracking up. We were in the movie theater. I'm surprised they didn't kick us out. You know, when she was telling me about some different areas of her life. And I said, well, you know, if your kid fell on the ground, would you go over and say, hey, you dumb kid, get up, right? No, you wouldn't do that. You go over and say, oh my goodness, sweetie pie, baby, honey bunch, whatever you call your little yummy, you will go over and say, baby, get up. It's okay. Try again, right? You got this. You could do it. Positive affirmation. When is the last time you did something that you felt was like, oh my God, I messed up, or I shouldn't have done that, or I could have done it differently? When was the last time you showed yourself that kind of love, where it was like, baby, it's okay. You get another try and another try and another try. You can do it. You got this. When was the last time you had that much fun and freedom in overlooking a mistake or a limitation or something you perceive as a weakness in your own journey? That is something, that is the place and the space. I know I've talked to a lot of people of getting back into that place where you're really careful with the judgment of self, because your soul, is love. You are love. And when you love yourself up, it's so much easier to show up the way that you want to show up. It's so much more delightful to show up when you're like, oh, when you laugh at yourself, when you're like, oh, I made a mistake, but I get to do it again. And you have fun with it. So just remember that, to be gentle with yourself, to be kind with yourself. I'm loving. Thank you. The private messages and the post on my page about what you learned during this process that we've been together, what you're up to, what you're doing. I got a fabulous video today from one of you and I'm loving it. So continue your progress. Like when we finish next week, don't just say, oh, that was great. Now I'm just going to go back to my old routine. Continue to show up. Remember what you felt in your ahas and your revelations and how that carried you through. So talk to me a little bit before we jump into tonight's tip. What have you been up to since we last connected last Thursday when we talked about our pace? What have you been up to? What have you learned? What ahas? Have you shared any piece of what you learned with somebody? Anybody, let me know what you've been up to. Talk to me here. I have one next month. Yes, wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that, Celine. Good. Make sure you get your doctor's appointment. They're scheduled. I love that you already have it scheduled. Anybody else? Tell me something that you've been doing since the last time that we met, because these tools, one connects to the other, connects to the other, connects to the other. So you may find yourself that you had to go back to a particular tool because you were still working on it, or you were with the PACE tool because we have so many different activities. You're still working that out. You're still saying, okay, I'm going to operate in one of those. I'm still working on my blocks. Who's still saying their affirmations since we created those last week? That's not a one-time deal. That's an everyday. Who put their affirmations on their bathroom mirror, on their refrigerator, in their car? What have you been up to with your I am statements, and how have they been helping you this week or previous when we last discussed them Thursday? Because the work doesn't stop. The work is continuous. So who's still doing the work? Let me know. Mentally dumping all the negative thoughts. Good girl, Celine. It's a work. You're a work in progress. It doesn't happen overnight, right? But each day you take a small piece and you work on that piece. You talk to people. I know you and I have talked. You get the right support around you. You get the right assistance, the right help. But you are a work in progress. So this is not every day is a new opportunity. So small bites, right? So good girl. I'm trying to shrink my block list. Okay. All right. But again, you're a work in progress, Camille. One thing, one at a time. So don't focus on the actual shrinking of the list. Focus on the work. So what block are you working on this week? And what help and or assistance do you need to put in place to help you identify what may be underlying that block, what may be getting in the way, maybe perhaps something that you can't see yourself, or again, having our tribe speak positive language into us, reminding us who we are when we forget, because sometimes we do forget. It feels really fantastic. All right. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Well, I love that you're still in the work, and I want you to still continue to have fun with it. If you have any, remember, drop your comments below. Have fun with it. Send me some private messages. Let me know how I can support you. Because again, this is a journey. And it's a journey of it's finding your tribe, right? Because this has become our community. It's become our tribe. And it's staying connected with like-minded people. Okay, with all the devastation going on, it was really hard to focus. So made the effort to turn off everything and turn on my creative flow in order to keep myself on an even keel. All right, Denise, I love it. I love it. So where's your pace now? Did you go from, what did you go from, and where are you now? 1 to 2, 2 to 3? I'm curious to know where you are with your pace. It seems like you have elevated, and I'm loving the work that you're doing. I'm loving staying in communication with you and seeing what you're up to. All right, so we're going to get into step number 6 of the journey tonight. And, a 2 to a 4. All right, woman, high five over I love it. A 2 to a 4 over the internet. High five. Love it, love it, love it. High five again. 2 to a 4. Yay. I still need a clapper. Somebody needs to send me one of those clappers. I actually had one, but it broke. So congratulations. I love hearing that. Love it. I know, right? So tonight we're going to talk about playing big. And this step is, when you hear play big, what comes up for you? Just automatically drop me some comments. Play big. What comes up? What's the first thought? Nothing. First thought that comes to mind, play big. Go all out. Yes, Camille, go all out. Anybody else? What comes up for you when you hear play big? Go for the gusto. Yes, absolutely. And that's exactly what playing big is. It's like, oh, baby, right? And tonight we're going to talk about playing big. And this is about ownership, right? Ownership of our feminine, ownership of our essence, ownership of self. This is where we're going to talk about being more powerful than you ever imagined, beyond your wildest imagination, having the time of your life, in doing and being who you are. And when you think about playing big, do you play big every day? Anybody? Every day. Is there anybody with me tonight that says, yep, I play big every day? I never play small. I never shortchange myself. I play big every day. No. Thank you, Camille. I love that. I love that. No. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you, Celine. So, what makes us fall back? What situations in our, oh no, I love that. What situations in our lives have caused us to minimize ourselves, have caused us to shrink, have caused us to hold back when we wanted to move forward? Have you ever felt like have you ever had a situation where you wanted to say something so bad and you just, everything in you, and your voice was like, say it. Your soul was like, say it. And something said, nope. And you regretted it later that you didn't speak up, that you didn't speak your truth. Or any situations have ever occurred where you knew you should have taken a stand for something and maybe out of fear you didn't. We've all had areas in our lives where we didn't play as big as we know or at the time knew we could have. So what is the reason why you don't play big when you think about it? What have been the reasons why you didn't play big? Fear, insecurity, lack of courage, felt like you had a lack of knowledge in something? Any of that resonate? What were the reasons why you didn't play big when you knew that you were equipped to do it? When you knew at a bare minimum that you had what it took, that you had what you needed, but you didn't use it. You didn't take a chance. You didn't take a risk. You didn't leap. Where in your life have you done that? And what were the reasons? Anybody recognize fear of criticism, fear of success, fear of failure? Has that ever kept you from playing big? The fear of I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not experienced enough. Has any of that ever gotten in your way of not playing big? Anybody ever? I know for me, sometimes my story was, and I've worked on it, like I felt like I needed more information. Right? The fear of the unknown. Yes, Camille. I felt like I needed more information before I would fully step out there. And you know what? What I've learned is most of the time you're not going to have all the information that you need. You're going to have to take a risk. Even God doesn't give us all the information that we need sometimes, right? You have to stand on your faith and trust that the next step will show up. But sometimes we just need to take a step, and then the next step will be revealed to us, and that can be challenging. But our own fears can keep us from the greatest and grandest version of that which we want. Just weary, tired, loss of strength. Yes, loss of strength. When you feel tired, that can definitely keep you from playing big. When you feel like I have given everything that I've got and I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to show up anymore. Anybody ever felt that way where you're just like, I am tired? And we have to watch our language, right? Because what we put out in the atmosphere starts to manifest in our world. So be very careful. I've learned to listen to those words, I'm tired, very differently from individuals, because I'm tired can mean that I'm physically ready to give up, right? So we need to listen. Or it could just mean I'm physically tired and I want to go to sleep. But we have to pay attention to our own voice and the voice of others, because there's just so much going on in the world. You just never know what a person is really going through. So it's important that we pay attention. And we all are also mindful of the words that we're speaking. Because with playing big, when you think you could do something, you could do it. When you think I can't do something, you probably can't do it, or you probably won't do it, because you keep conditioning yourself to believe that I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Well, the actions will follow. You won't be able to do it. But if you say, like, you ever heard the story of the little engine that could? I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And that motivation behind that, if you keep saying, I think I can, and you take another step, I think I can, the little engine that could kept going forward and pressing his way, because the self-confidence that was there. And sometimes we have to speak to ourselves. And so it gets deep in our soul that I think I can keep on going. And then sometimes when you don't even have the words, you call somebody. You call a friend who knows you. You call a family member who knows you. And they can speak for you. They can start reminding you, not speak for you, but speak to you. They can start reminding you of who you are and whose you are and what they know to be true about you. Because sometimes we all get a little weary, right? It's life. Things show up every day. Unexpected things. You get a phone call that you weren't expecting. You get bad news in the mail. You lose a job. You lose a loved one. We all become weary, and we need people to help and to support us. And not being ashamed to ask for help is a part of playing big as well. Not feeling I don't want to bother anybody, or, I asked this person for something last week, so I don't want to ask this week. How do you know what the person may be able to do or may not be able to do? But if you continue to create stories, sometimes we can block our own blessings by not just standing boldly and saying, this is what I need. Can you help me? The answer is yes, no, maybe. Maybe I can't. Maybe I can do it now. Maybe I can do it later. But there's always an answer. And for every no, there's a yes. So you get a no from one person, you go to the next person. That's all. Right? And you just keep asking. And asking can, depending on what you're asking for, can be very scary. I get that. But it's also figuring out, well, who can I ask? Who can I make this request to? Who do I feel safe going to express myself, right? Finding those one or two people in your life. Hopefully you have more, but if you have one or two, you're blessed that you can go to and have a conversation. Even sometimes maybe they can't help you with what you actually need, but they can give you emotional support. They can give you mental support. They could pray with you. They could help you think, give you ideas and suggestions that you haven't even thought of yourself. So don't be afraid to surround yourself with people who you can go to and trust. So what do you fear? That's a part of playing big. So I want you to write these steps down. And over the next few days on a piece of paper, write down, what do you fear? Do you fear success? Do you fear failure? Do you have a fear of being criticized if you show up bigger, if you play bigger in areas of your health, your spirituality, your sexuality, your finances, what's going on at home? What do you fear? What do you fear, if anything? If you decided that I'm going to show up bigger, and showing up bigger could be you want to change the way you dress. You want to change your hairstyle. You start to think differently. You want to fully express yourself and not limit the things you say, because I truly believe we can talk about anything. It's not the what you say, it's the how you say it. And people who are truly amongst your tribe and are your friends will understand when you need to communicate something, because we can talk about anything with anybody, but because it's not what we say, it's how we say it. I truly believe that. And communication is so important in relationships, because you can I've gotten into arguments over text messages, right? Because of a misunderstanding. And thank God that they've been with people that we can both pick up the phone and ask, what are you talking about? And be like, oh, I just totally misunderstood that. And we laugh about it, right? So just being really clear on how you're showing up, how you're communicating is so important. So I want you to write down what your fears are, and don't judge it. Just sit down with a pen and paper and write down what fears are getting in the way of you playing big, of you showing up as the person, as the woman that you know you are, that you desire to be, because you are who you are today, and we're all growing into the version of ourselves that we already see, right? She's already there. She's already waiting for you over there. She's saying, this is me. I see you, and I'm waiting for you to come and greet me as you walk to her. So you have a vision of the woman that you're becoming. You have a vision of what things you desire and what your yearnings are and how you're going to acquire them. You may not have all the answers yet, but you can see who it is that you're becoming, that 1% better every day. You can see it. You can see it clearly. So write down what your fears are. What fears get in the way of, nobody's going to read this. So even the fears, when you lay your head down at night, what are the things that come up for you? Or what are the things that wake you up at night that are your fears, that concern you? Things that you think, is it too late? Am I too old? Have I not done enough at this point to catch up? Whatever those fears may be, write those down on a piece of paper. Then I want you to write down, what are your beliefs? What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about your worthiness to have it? Do you believe that you are worthy of the things that you want and or desire? Do you believe that you're deserving of the very best of everything? Do you believe that, if I take time for me, do you believe, I wrote this question down, and I'm sometimes can't read my own writing because I have so much is coming out. Do you believe that if you take time for yourself, that you may be perceived as being selfish by another? If you have others around you, a family where you are constantly giving and maybe not getting enough, maybe not filling, we talked about filling our wells up, maybe not getting your internal supply filled back up. What are your beliefs about you? So I want you to write down, what are your fears and what are your beliefs? Do you believe you're worthy? Do you believe you're deserving? Do you believe you're gorgeous? Do you believe you're beautiful? Do you believe you're smart? Do you believe you know enough? Do you believe you have enough to do the next thing and the next thing? You may not have everything, but what do you have right now? What are your beliefs about you and about what's going on in your world? Is everything always somebody else's fault? What are your beliefs about what it is that is your fault, or what it is you need to work on? So write that down. And once you do that, after those 2 steps, I want you to look at what you wrote for your fears and your beliefs and ask yourself, is it true? Is it really true? Is there something that you could look at and say, this is ridiculous, and just start laughing about it? Like, I can't believe that I believe this, or I can't believe that this is a fear, when you think about some of the things that you do in your daily life. Like, is what you're saying and doing aligning? Because sometimes we can say, this is my belief, but our actions can go against what your belief is. So when you write your fears and you write down your beliefs, is this true? Ask yourself for each one, go through it. Is this true? And if it's not, you get to scratch it off the list and take it right off. Because if it's true, if you can literally laugh at it and say, oh my God, I can't believe that I have been holding on to this. This is not true. Or it was true, but it's no longer true. Think about what really is true with your fears and your beliefs. Because this exercise is really going to help you think about, we talked about how I said earlier, how we love ourselves, how we love others more freely sometimes than we love ourselves. And sometimes it's going back. This is like a self-inventory process. It's going back and looking at ourselves in the areas of, what is my part and what's going on with me, right? Stop looking outside of ourselves. What is my part and what is going on with me? Where is my ownership? Because playing big is about ownership of self, right? Owning your stuff. Owning, this is something I desire to work on. This is something that no longer works for me. This is something I no longer want because it does not serve me. So what is the part, where do you need to look at yourself? Look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what is my part in the areas where I'm not playing big enough? And what do I need to do differently? What support do I need to get? What training or skills maybe that I need to acquire? Who do I need to contact to talk about how can I play bigger? Taking responsibility. Yes, because we all have to look at ourselves sometimes. Sometimes, we give in too easily to something where we should have took a stand and said no. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to add anything else. When your answer is no, it's no. End of story. Many of us, sometimes we have to justify and explain. No, if it's not something that you want to do, if it's not something that is not within, your space or your realm at the time, or it's just something that you're just like, that doesn't work for me right now. You get to say no. Playing big is about owning your no. And it's also about owning your yes. So also feeling into, a lot of us don't know our yes and we don't know our no because we're not used to standing firmly on yes. And you feel it in your body when your yes is a yes and it feels good. And sometimes we say yes when we really meant no. And sometimes we say no when we mean yes. So it's also getting clear and playing with that. When somebody asks you something, take a minute to pause and ask yourself, is my answer a yes or is my answer a no? And just feeling into it. You may need to give a little bit more information sometimes you don't. But at the core of the question, is my answer yes or is my answer a no? And just feeling that. And sometimes it may be, my hit right now is to be still, is to wait. I had a friend ask me a question about an opportunity that she says, girl, I know this is right for you. And I've been praying about that. And what I get in my soul is to wait. And sometimes that's what we need to do in our situation is to say, just take a moment, pray about it, meditate on it, and say, what do I need in this moment before I make a decision? Because sometimes we make decisions and then we regret the decision, or it wasn't. And it could have just been, if I would have just taken a moment to really figure out what my true answer was, I would have gotten to it. Instead, now I've got to suffer the consequences, if you will, if it's, something I did and I was like, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have done that. And it's not easy to reverse. Sometimes it's just take a moment and say, what is my answer? Is it yes? Is it no? Is it be still? Is it wait? But getting to know that voice of this powerful person, this powerful being that you are. Self-doubt is the killer of dreams. How many dreams do you think, right? Because we get new dreams. Thank you, Lord. How many dreams have you allowed to be lulled to sleep or even forgotten about or even let slip away because of self-doubt? Anybody? Just some dreams you've had and your beliefs, right? Or your fears got in the way of you not achieving that dream. Self-doubt is the killer of dreams. So as we move forward, this is our time to say, you know what? To pay attention to your dreams and take a step closer to that dream. Like play full out, play big, plenty, right? But thank God we still woke up today. So we still have another opportunity and another opportunity to go after our dreams, because thank God for new dreams each and every day, right? For visions, for sometimes you have a thought for things you never even thought or imagined, and you get this thought like right now at this stage of your life. It's never too late. Oh my God, let's not even go there more than I can remember. I hear you, but the beauty of it is, and the gift is, it's not too late. it's not too late. It's not too late for you to say, you know what? It's time for me to play bigger in my courage. So many I can't count. I hear you, but that's behind us. And it's not too late for each of us to stand up and say, I'm going to play bigger in my own courage, in my own faith, in that I can take a step, and that I am strong enough, and that I have enough to do the things that I desire, to do the thing, to show up big, right? And we get to grow, continue to grow into that space, because it may feel scary, it may feel uncertain, and we may not feel like, again, we don't have enough information. But we do. We have enough inside of us to take one step. It could be just you have a dream, you have a desire, writing it on a piece of paper. It could be typing it in this thread. Because have you noticed what happens when members of this community type things in this thread? They get support. They get encouragement. They're seen. They're witnessed. And I know, because with the hearts and the comments, it feels so good. It's like that. The fire, it gets that fire lit underneath you. Like, wow, this is what I needed. Because when we're witnessed, when we're loved, when we're held, it gives us that juice and that energy to take another step and another step. Because doing things by yourself, I mean, there's a lot sometimes, you have to do by yourself, because you just got to get things done and or accomplished. But when you do things in community, it just feels so yummy. It feels so good. And that support helps catapult you to the next level of your greatness, to the next step. There's many times when I talk to people and they're like, well, did you think about this? No. And so I'm just so grateful for the conversation, because we don't have all the answers. Excuse me. We don't have all the answers. And you know what? We don't have to have all the answers. So thank God for that. That we are put in positions and places where the answers will come, or people will give us support if we believe that it's coming to us, if we believe that we're worthy of whatever it is that we desire, that we yearn for, that we want, whatever we've prayed about, standing in faith, whatever you meditate on, believing that it's yours. So it's really time to start looking at those areas. So remember, self-doubt is the killer of dreams. So this is the week where you show up in your courage and you say, okay, ooh, I had the dream. Try to remember what you dream about tonight. Like, consciously say before you go to bed, let me remember my dreams. Whether you pray to God, universe, goddess, whomever, let me remember my dreams. And as you go to sleep tonight, may I dream and let me remember my dreams. And as you go to sleep tonight, see what you remember in the morning. Pay attention to what you dream about, what comes up in your dreams tonight. Hey, Robin. Pay attention to what comes up in your dreams tonight. I've been noticing that since I've been doing this experience, my dreams have been bolder, brighter. Excuse me, my eyes itching. They have been brighter. I've been remembering my dreams more, because there's been many times where I'm fully in the dream. And have you ever had that experience? You're fully in the dream and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell this to somebody or write it down. And as soon as you wake up, the dream is gone. But lately, I have to say, my dreams, I've been remembering my dreams and more pieces of the dream. So I encourage you to request that you remember some of your dreams and what comes up for you around what your dreams are and how you can stand courageously in that desire and in that yearning for your dream. Remember, what you believe you can do, you can. And what you believe you can't do, you probably won't do, because you've got a belief about it. So what are some things that you may need to get some rewiring, if you will, or change the belief, because you can change a belief about something. You can write it down. You can speak it in an affirmation. You can change your belief about something. Who's in your tribe? This is a big one. We're playing big. Who is in your tribe that's smarter than you? That's up to more than you are, right? Because we want to surround ourselves with people who are, if I'm the smartest one in the bunch, I need to get around some people who are smarter because I want to learn and I want to grow. So if I'm the smartest apple in the batch, how am I growing? I'm not. So it's important to get around it's important to get around a tribe, to have people in your circle that are smarter than you are, that have achieved more than you have, and will also help to teach you what they know. Each one teach one. Along the way, I'm able to share and support and teach what I know, but I still want to, you want to fly with the eagles. You want to be around people who can help you to look at things differently, who can help you grow, who will stretch you. And stretching is not comfortable all the time, but it's required to step into that person you want to be, because if you're not stretching and you're not growing and you're not expanding, how do you expect to grow into the greater, grander vision of the person that you know that you're becoming? So get in a tribe where there are people around you who are smarter than you, who are doing bigger things than you are, things that excite you, things that you want to know more about, things that you can ask questions about. Get around those people. Cecil and fly with the... Anyway, these two in their sports. So play big, play big, play boldly in your greatness. That's what playing big is about. Playing boldly in your greatness, because that's who you are created. You are already great. So getting beyond your fears, writing those out. What are your fears? What are your beliefs? Don't forget, write them all out. No judgment here. What are your beliefs? And asking yourself, is this true? Because a lot of things we hold on to aren't even true for us anymore. That's right. A vision is a provision. Absolutely. A lot of things we hold on to aren't true for us anymore. Or we're holding on to them so tight, like we talked about, like that security blanket, only because they feel good. Not because we need them. Not because they're nourishing us. Not because they're good for who we are or what we're up to, because it feels good. It's an old story or an old pattern. So what do you need to let go? I want to play more boldly so I can move forward. Absolutely. We want to play more boldly. Play big. Play boldly in your greatness. So this week, you have some activities that we've already talked about. I want you to really, what are the steps? What are 1 to 2 steps where you can say, you know what, I'm going to up level. This is my time. This is how I am going to play big this week. So what is that for you? What is the 1 or 2 things where you're going to say, I'm going to play bigger than I've been playing because I owe it to myself, right? Playing small just keeps us small. What are you up to? You've got brains. You've got beauty, because you're all gorgeous. You're all fabulous, men and women. We just got it like that, right? You've got some people around you. And if you don't, you've got this community. If no one is physically around you, if anybody says, well, I really don't, you've got people right here in this community, because you've seen the support that shows up in this community and the love by just popping in, by just showing up, by just posting your question or your thought. So you've got a community right here. So I want to know, anybody tonight, right here, what is one thing you will do to play bigger this week, to play boldly in your greatness? Something where you know you've been playing small and it's time to show up in a bigger way. Listen to my higher spirit. Step 1. Amen. Always about listening to your higher self, whether you call that God, universe, divine, goddess, whatever that is for you. What is the voice that you're listening to? That is a big part of playing bigger. Are you listening to the voice of limitation? Are you listening to the voice of fear? Are you listening to the voice that empowers you? Are you praying about what it is. Are you waiting for God to speak to you in your heart, or whoever it is that you pray to, whatever you get in your meditation? Are you listening for the voices of your soul that speak to you? Step 2, jump out and into faith. Stand on your faith. That's right. Because sometimes we can say this is a bridge, right? Sometimes we can have our hands here. Your body, I meant to say your body's a bridge. We can have our hands on one side of, just say it's a mountain, one side of a mountain. And so there's a gap and you want to get to the other side. So you lay down, you put your body here, you hold on with your hands, and you got your feet over here and your body's here. So everybody's like, oh, thank you for being the bridge. And they continue to walk over top of you. But where you need to let go of one side, right? You got to take a leap of faith and say, I got to let go. I can't continue to have one hand over here and one foot over here and think that I'm actually leaping. Sometimes it's like, I really have to let go. And we talked about surrender. What is it that you need to surrender? What do you just need to say, I'm done. I've done all I can. I'm done. I surrender. To just allow the overflow and the influx to come through. Because sometimes we hold on to things so tight. Again, that security blanket. And if you just drop your shoulders and say, you know what, this is not serving me. I need to let it go. I really need to let it go. But you don't close your hands back. You say, I need to let it go. I need to open my fingers and let it go so that it can flow through you. But also when we surrender and we let things go so that they can flow through us, we also feel that return of what's going to flow back to us, because we've created the space, the opening for what is next. Get myself out of my way. That's a big one. It's a big one. Getting out of our way. Right? Where are you in your own way? Sometimes we need others to point it out to us when we're in our own way. Sometimes we know it, that we get in our way. We're trying to control things that we have to let go and or surrender. What is that for you? Where are you getting in your own way? Where do you need to give yourself a timeout so that you can see clearly what the next step is? So think about that this week. What is 1 to 2 steps or things you can do to play boldly in your greatness this week? I want to see how you show up bigger, myself included. 1 to 2 things that you can say, whether that be making a phone call, somebody you need to talk to, an appointment you need to schedule. What's something you've been putting off for fear? What's something you know you need to take care of this week? What's something, it could be in your finances, it could be in your relationships. What is it? Something in your health. What are 1 to 2 things you can do this week to play a bit bigger, to stand a bit taller, to say, yes, I took that step for me? Publish at least. All right. Yes, I want to see that. Publish at least 1 blog. Have been holding back. Yes. And it doesn't have to be a long, this long written out thing, Denise. It could be a short post. It could be one of your I am affirmations. It could be something, that inspires you, that's motivational to you, that you've been thinking about. Have fun with it. Play big with it. Play boldly in your greatness. Write something this week that you really feel good about. Don't worry about what you think people want to know or how it should be. Write something inspiring this week that when you write it, you're like, oh, I have been waiting to get these words on paper. Because just like when we show up in the space, there's a message for somebody. There's a blessing for somebody. Somebody is waiting for your greatness. So play big in your greatness this weekend. Play boldly in your greatness this week, because we'll be back again on Thursday. Play boldly. 1 to 2 things that you can do to play boldly this week. And we'll check back in on Thursday to see what you've been up to. Any questions before we sign off tonight? Let me know if this was helpful. In the comments, thumbs up, hearts. Let me know what you got from this tonight. Anything before we jump off. Just so I can hear from you ladies. I love that. I want to see that, Denise, too. I want to see your blog. All right, ladies. I will be checking the thread. If you need support, feel free to DM me. Drop your comments below. I want to hear about what came up for you as a result of writing your fears, writing your beliefs, asking yourself, is it true? And also 1 to 2 things, golden as always. Yes, 1 to 2 things you are going to do this week. I want to talk about that on Thursday, where you play boldly in your greatness. I want to see it. I want to feel you on Thursday when we check back in. And feel free to drop comments here as well. And don't forget, if anybody wants to jump on a one-on-one call with me, so that I may serve you better in the work and to learn more about the come home to yourself experience, going even deeper into the work, feel free to DM me or drop me a comment below, and I would love to get on a call with you to see how I may support and serve you. So have a great night, ladies. I'll see you back here live on Thursday. And let's stay in communication over the week. You'll see the posts going up. So, I always love to hear from you. Good night. Love you.